All right, I'm here with JJ Engler. JJ, how you doing today?
I am great. How are you?
Hey, good to have you back, man. This is the second time on the podcast. What are you
It's
here
a
for?
pleasure to
Let's
be
hear
here.
it.
Yeah, so I recently sold Trade Backlinks. It's an AI SaaS platform that helps business owners automatically find backlinks that will link to them in a fully autonomous way.
Nice, I love it. How'd you get the idea?
You know what? I was DMing a couple friends someday. They had similar websites to mine. I was like, hey, do you just want to trade backlinks? Like, we could just do this together. You could put it here, we could put it there. And it just worked out really well. And I was like, well, maybe we could just put together like a marketplace where similar sites might want to trade with each other and just help each other. So it started very simple. And then I was just like, well, you got the marketplace and the chicken and egg problem of building the marketplace. You need the two sides. And
Yeah,
I failed previously with that, right? You've done it masterfully with Acquire. I failed previously. So I was afraid of building a marketplace. So I was like, how do I do this without building a marketplace? And I was just like, AI, like everybody
there
does
you go.
today, right? AI, everything. And so trade backlinks, I was able to find an SEO agency owner to continue it and run it, which I'm really excited about keeping it in that space. And they know so much more about it than I do, but I was able to really nerd out on the tech. And I built this really cool platform where you insert the keywords that you're after, or you can also insert websites that are like similar or that you want to rank for. And then from there, we'll do a bunch of keyword research, see what the best opportunities are, and then see the websites that are ranking for those opportunities, and then automatically contact those website owners and ask them if they'd be open to some kind of collaboration. Right. And so we're able to do this fully autonomously. It runs every single day for you in an autopilot method. And then you just get responses from the people when they're ready to engage. And then you can just coordinate from there.
Nice. How'd you build it? Because I remember last time you were on here, you sold, I believe, a bubble built product, right? And
Yeah.
this one was built with AI. Tell me how you built this one.
Yeah. So I'm a big time no code guy. I go back 2019 using no code. Originally, I was non technical before that, but taught myself how to build. Obsessed with no code ever since. This one was a lot more AI and workflow driven, but still with a Bubble front end. So I was still using Bubble because I just know it so well. I can just get in there. I'm a night and weekends guy, and so I'm hacking together night and weekends, and I can move really quick with it. And so Bubble for most of the stack, but then I used a ton of APIs, Ahrefs APIs, of course, ChatGPT, Anthropic, a ton of different modeling based on, the creative writing or other things like we had to, find emails based on domain. And so we used APIs for finding those emails. And we did use some NAN for some additional AI agent stuff. And so I was able to kind of reach into my bag and just pull out the tricks to, bring this together.
Right on. How'd you get the first users?
You know what? My domains were the first users. I just set it up for my own domains. I have a couple domains and I was like, all right, let's get this going. And I ran it for like a month. And I was starting to get results of people responding to me. And not like No Code Alliance is the domain that I was using it for. No Code Alliance is an organization to help people learn no code and AI skills. And I have courses there. I have job boards there and whatnot. And so I was using this domain as a pilot to see if it would work, right? And I also have my own podcast called This Week in No Code. And so I was able to use that domain and I was able to get not only backlinks for No Code Alliance, but I was also able to get some people to come on my podcast as well. And it was kind of helping out. And generally, I found that just consistent outreach is better than no outreach, right? 100% of the shots are better than no shots, right? And so there are a lot of rejections, but because you're doing, you know, in my case, it was, 5 outreach per day, but sometimes it's just 1 outreach, maybe it's more, but 1 to 5 outreach per day, then, you get more chances at the bat because you're just swinging. So yeah.
Right on. Well, dude, it sounds like you had product market fit. The product was growing. What made you want to sell it?
Yeah, I think we got product market fit. We were able to get some customers. We were able to get some MRR going. And I think I just fell into the same trap that I did last time, which is I'm such a builder. And so like once it was built, I didn't sell it, right? I wasn't
Yeah.
actually focusing on market and sales. And I think that's the typical problem that I run into. And so we just hovered at the same MRR for a while. And it was at the point where it was like, this was running fully autonomous. I didn't need to do much work, but I also it's outside of the circles that I speak to, like on social media. Like I don't speak to SEO. I don't have that audience, right? And so I was trying to speak to business owners and, solo founders that just need additional AI labor to do some of this busy work for them. And I think that worked with some of our initial customers, but to really grow it, it needed more dedicated sales and effort. And also someone really passionate about the SEO space, which the new owner now has. And so Yeah, I was thinking, I was like, all right, well, last time it worked out with acquire.com. Even though I didn't have much revenue, it worked out last time. Let's try it again. And within a month, I found an SEO agency owner on Acquire that was like, let's give it a go. I've been supporting him ever since. And again, one of the things I really love about Bubble is it's an easy handover. And so, I hand over Bubble, it's a full stack. There was a lot more APIs to hand over as well, like maybe 10 additional APIs. So that was a little bit more work, but teaching them generally, here's everything for your database, your interface, et cetera. And Bubble was very helpful in that way. And so now he's running it. I'm supporting it as needed, not that much. And he has some exciting ideas for it.
Let's go. I love that. I think it's great to recognize when you're losing passion for, a company, startup, project, whatever. Someone could really pick that up and grow it much further than, maybe you were able to or you were interested in growing.
Yeah,
How long did it
sorry, go for it.
I was just gonna ask you, how long did it take to find the buyer? But if you had another point, feel free to throw it out.
Yeah, no, I was able to build the platform. I think I was able to time it out about 120 hours over nights and weekends. So it was about 4 months of nights and weekends, 120 hours of work to get it up, get it live, and like I put some additional stuff past there, but uh, all things considered, pretty quickly, right? And so I was really happy with that. Yeah, I think generally, I just love building things, and especially if I'm doing it nights and weekends, because during the day I work for software. I'm their community and education lead and helping others build no code in a full in a uh, just generally helping them. So nights and weekends thing, it's like, what do I want to do? Right? Like I want to build stuff. I don't want to
Yeah.
sell and market stuff. And so maybe if I ever do nights and weekend stuff in the future, I need a co-founder that's willing to do a sale so I could just build and have fun nights and weekends. So I think that's what I'm looking at. I do have a new SaaS that I'm getting ready to launch because that's how it goes. I love to keep
Let's hear it.
building.
That's the
You were gonna do it?
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
drop it. What is it?
All right. I haven't told anybody about this yet. All right. So this is the first thing. So the idea is that we found a way that allows you to send branded push notifications without building an application. All right.
Mm,
So it's called My Creator Pass, and it allows creators to go in and build passes for their brand. And then their audience can add those passes to their Apple Wallet or Android wallet. And once they add it to the wallet, that creator can send them push notifications directly to their phone in a fully branded way.
nice. That's clever. I didn't even know that because I used to be in the mobile app business. So we sent a ton of
Yeah.
push notifications. We'd have a ton of businesses that would even just create mobile apps just to send push notifications to their customers.
Right. It's not supposed to be used this way. Apple and Android probably don't want us using the technology this way, but we were able to repurpose the tech to use it this way. And so, yeah, we can send a branded push notifications. We can send links with it. And then, we're really focused on creators that want to own the audience and rise above the algorithm. On YouTube, for example, a lot of your subscribers don't have notifications turned on. And so they're not notified that you have a recent video and pushed out, or, newsletters, you're fighting the inbox. On Twitter and LinkedIn, you're fighting the algorithm. And so it's like, own your audience, go right to the push notification screen as soon as you got a latest video, whatever. And then you can connect it to a REST API. So like, once a new video comes out, automatically push to your audience. Hey, a new video, check it. Let's go. So we're going to
Nice.
launch that soon. And that's been a really fun journey. And normally when I build something, it's built in public, but this one was just like, I don't know if we can do it. So I'm not going to really tell anyone until like we could do it. And then we got it working a couple weeks ago. I saw the full thing. Where it's like, all right, we're going. We're good.
Nice. I dig it. I can tell you're passionate about this one. I like it.
It's the builder in me, man. Yeah. So I'm excited about it. It's a new thing for creators though. There's friction point of the creator now has to ask their audience to do something else, right? It's a new pattern that has to be established in education, et cetera. So there's a lot of friction there. But if it is adopted, that one creator could push that pass out to their audience and bring in lots of people and that exposure and whatnot. So there's a lot of growth opportunities if we get past that initial friction. And if not, maybe we'll just go to a different industry where it's like event tickets, where, if you have events or if you have, local gyms or whatever that you can use that technology for passes, but then also notify those members of, hey, there's a building closure here, or we have special events going on here with the notification aspect of that as well. So starting off with creators, and we're going to really test this audience, but have a pivot in mind if it doesn't work.
Nice. That's slick. I dig it. I got a question for you. I'm sure there's going to be other founders listening to this, and they're probably like, I feel the same way as JJ did about my startup. I'm getting bored of it. I'm a builder. What would you say to them? Yeah, say, JJ, I'm getting bored of my startup. I've been working on it for a year or something like that. Should I keep going? Should I sell it? I'm a builder at heart. Yeah, what advice would you have for them?
I think I've learned this the hard way because my first startup, I held on to it way too long. And like, I probably should have let it go like 12 to 18 months earlier than I did, but it was like my baby. So it was hard to let go. Right. And so I learned after that, the postmortem was like, man, you should have, all the signs were there of the traction wasn't there, the PMF wasn't there. And so at one point, it's just an opportunity cost of you doing this and you're choosing to not do other things. And that's costing you much more than you might think it is. And so it's always hard to shut something down. And I always try everything I can do before that. But if I ever feel like, you know what, I'm just not there anymore, this a shameless plug, but I put on a choir because that starts a lot of conversations that it's like, well, first, is there value? Are people valuing this? Do I see it that way? Or are they asking me questions? Maybe I can find a co-owner to come with me and maybe they're passionate and I can keep going. There's a lot of different options that acquirer can introduce by having that buyer pool connect you with. So, yeah, I've done it a couple of times now with acquire. I was able to find that buyer. I love that this service exists, especially for like, this was a small SaaS and it's so nice that a small SaaS still has a place to go to find a buyer too. So.
Right on. I got another question following up on that. Let's say, okay, JJ, you're right. I'm going to list down acquire, find a buyer for this business. What advice would you have based on that since you've gotten acquired? I think like 3 times now, but let's just assume twice, three.
Yeah. Yep.
What advice would you have for another founder, going through the acquisition process on acquire?
Yeah, it's just like you're putting up any other video on YouTube, or you have to stick out. People are scrolling, you got to stick out, right? And so you got to figure out what your hook is to get them to learn more about what makes your business interesting, especially if you don't have the revenue to prove it. And I didn't really, right? And so for me, it was a technology play. I had all this fancy AI software, was able to do so much, but the revenue didn't speak for itself. And so I put together a really good video of just like, if you have any questions, watch this. And it's like 7 minutes of why it's magical and explaining, the benefits of it and then kind of talking about the back end and all the things involved. And it's simply saying, like, if you're going to build something like this, it's going to cost you 4 to 5x. You could just acquire it now and the built in revenue and get it going. So for me, it was show, not tell. And that was in a video form and leading with, being engaging and trying to stand out in that way, as there are a lot of listings now that are on the platform and you just got to stand out just like you have to do in every other platform.
Great advice. Well, JJ, you're a legend, dude. If people want to learn more about your story or follow you online, where can they find you?
Yeah, so I'm really active on LinkedIn, also on X. X isn't what it used to be. I hate that, but I'm active on both of those. I also have my YouTube channel, No Code Alliance, and then my weekly podcast this week in No Code Plus AI, where I talk about all the things of no code and AI. And generally, I bring on a CEO building an AI startup and talk through their journey. And so last week we had Eric from Bolt on. We've had the CEO of Zapier, Wade, on. We've had many other CEOs on, and it's a really fun time just to hear their journey, what has led them to starting that startup, some of the friction points they hit along the way, and then talking about where they think this crazy industry of AI is going in the future. So you can catch us every week, this week in NoCo Plus AI. And Andrew, man, pat on the back because you are crushing it. I love the way you're building this company. Thank you for offering it to even small entrepreneurs like me that still want to build on nights and weekends and still find some way to have it pay off rather than shelving it. So thank you for that.
Right on. Appreciate you, JJ. Congrats again on the acquisition, man.
Thank you, man.
Cheers.